Welcome to Community Crypto on CoinDesk TV. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson, and this week we are exploring the impact of decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, in various cities around the United States. One of the early adopters being the Miami DAO. In full disclosure, I am also currently a member of the Miami DAO as well. Today, I'm joined now by Scott Spiegel, CEO of BitBasel and Miami DAO member, and Scarlett Arana, co-founder of BitBasel and CEO of UNIFYIT, and also a Miami DAO member. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having us, Isaiah.
Absolutely, yes. And again, like I said, I'm also a part of Miami DAO, so this is like us just talking about how we can help impact the city. But first, I wanted to ask, what is a DAO, and what are some of the functions for governance, Scarlett?
Yeah, absolutely. So DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. So with a DAO, think of it as a consensus where people can actually use it to vote on different systems. So here in Miami, we're trying to figure out how can Miami residents vote on different issues using a blockchain technology on a DAO structure.
Absolutely. Yep. And, with the DAO, you give voting, governance, all those things to different people in the city. And one of the things we're looking for in the Miami DAO is that. So, Scott, could you explain to us some of the background of the creation of the DAO, why it was formed, and sort of how it progressed to how it is today?
Well, Miami's always been at the forefront of blockchain and crypto adoption, all the way since 2014. Actually, Ethereum blockchain was announced here in Miami by Vitalik. And I think the community has grown since then. And I think the Miami DAO is another instance of the community, trying to show, not just the world, but Miami citizens, how blockchain technology can be used to impact on a local spectrum. So I feel like the Miami DAO is foremost an educational experiment to, teach people and implement blockchain into a city, and no better place than Miami, Florida.
Oh, yeah. And in Miami, like you said, they presented where Ethereum was. A lot of new crypto people have started in Miami. And what is the stated mission of the Miami DAO? What exactly is the Miami DAO trying to do, and how can they work with residents and city officials to achieve that goal?
Yeah, absolutely. So the DAO was basically allows Miami residents to vote on different topic. Right now, we're using it to more on the educational side. So, for instance, if you want to use a certain governments to help vote on different issues for Miami residents, then Miami DAO is for you. So anybody could be part of this DAO as long as it's relevant to Miami. So right now, the DAO is used more for the educational purposes, but we definitely work with the city to be able to implement the DAO on a citywide level.
And recently, we saw in Miami that Mayor Suarez, he took a $5 million stake that he had earned with Miami Coin and uses that to help with rent controls and some of the prices. Are these some of the initiatives that the Miami DAO will be involved in the future, as far as residents being able to vote to where this money goes?
Definitely. I think it's amazing what Mayor Suarez has done with the $5 million, really tackling affordable housing, which has been an issue, especially over the last, 12 to 18 months as rent prices have rose amongst the city. The Miami DAO definitely wants to follow in those steps to really tackle issues that are hurting the most vulnerable in Miami. We're going to take a different approach from Miami Coin, where we're going to have really the whole citizenship vote on where they think the issues are that money could be tackled and pushed to first. But definitely affordable housing. We definitely share Mayor Suarez's emphasis on tackling homelessness in the city. So it's not just teaching people about Web3, but teaching people about financial literacy, financial inclusion, at a basis, how to save. How to invest in something that's stable and will, create a prosperous Miami for the future that's sustainable.
Oh, yes. And it will take a lot of us to do it. But you're right. A lot of the things that we're working on with homelessness and a lot of the initiatives that Mayor Suarez has implemented, it will be great to see the residents be directly involved. And, in the DAO, of course, it's decentralized. However, there are some key players who are pushing these initiatives forwards. Who are some of the members of the DAO who have met together and have discussed how they can implement these ideas? Who are some of the key figures and some of the people who are implementing things right now?
Definitely getting a lot of help from both public and private sectors. It's really exciting. We see a lot of interest from the universities in our city, University of Miami, Florida International University, Miami-Dade College, but even universities across the whole globe are reaching out to see how they can help the Miami DAO. So that's very exciting. We've also had official discussions of the Miami DAO at the Miami-Dade Cryptocurrency Task Force. So there's about 8 members on there, but they understand the potential that the Miami DAO has to really, really be a great case study for how this city can implement blockchain technologies. Other organizations, the Blockchain Institute of Technology, which is a Miami homegrown institution, has taught over 100,000 students across the world about blockchain. They're really helping put together an educational curriculum. And of course, the Miami Coin Project, which is separate from the Miami DAO, but they also see the potential that a Miami DAO can have for a city and really fits within their mission of implementing Web3 into public use.
Oh, yeah. And Scarlett, who are some of the people you've been working with in the DAO who are helping with Miami DAO as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been working mainly for the community. It's very important for us, the Miami residents, to learn how to utilize this technology. So we very much focus on the education. What is blockchain? What is DAO? How to structure a governance and how to vote on different issues. So, I'm a born native of Miami, so I feel very strongly on certain issues. So we could get the community together to be able to do these decisions. Now, as a Miami residents, addressing like homelessness issue, food shortage, or even climate change, which directly affects Miami residents, can be part of the governance systems where different issues of can be addressed through the DAO system. That's one of the advantages. And because it's on blockchain, it's very transparent where technology executes. So that's one of the advantageous parts of using a DAO structure where the government utilizes a technology that is decentralized and where everybody can be a participant.
Yes. And that is the key right there, making sure everybody has a fair shot. Has a fair amount of participation. And, in the future, do you think DAOs could provide a digital governance that could rival local governments to the point where this may be far off? We don't need mayors, or we may not need city officials to choose where the money goes. It could literally just be residents. Do you think the DAO could maybe achieve that sometime in the future?
I definitely feel like the DAO amplifies the voices of the community. Definitely, it's more of a complement of what's happening. When in the past, most of the decisions are very much top down. Now the people can actually have a way to also voice their decision in a more decentralized manner. So I don't think it will be a replacement, but more of a complement to a system that's already there, and it actually will help with both for everybody to more a faster decision that's more decentralized. Now we're including everybody to be a participant, and that's really what the technology is there for.
Yes, and you're right as far as the technology. Scott, you can jump in there as well.
No, definitely. No, I agree with Scarlett. I mean, we really want to be an experiment. We're not asking for, public help. We really want this to be an organic and bottom up approach, but there's definitely going to be some use cases and new models that are going to show that, maybe a use of smart contract and a transparent treasury can be adopted to a local government, and that it provides, better alternatives, 10x alternatives to the solutions that we have now, where a lot of the budgets and allocations of money, it's a little bit opaque to the rest of the citizens. So I think having a real-time 24/7 insight into where the money is, where it's going, and then also tracking the impact of how that money is achieving its goals. I think it's definitely going to be something that can, evolve the use of government and how they interact with their citizens.
Yes. So it's not a complete revolution of the government, but more of an evolution of government, how it can work beside and work alongside city officials to make sure residents are heard, which is great all around. And Scott, I wanted to ask, do you think other cities will follow Miami? I mean, being in Miami, you've seen a lot of this increase in tech companies and blockchain companies, and now the Miami DAO. Do you think other cities will follow and have some already started?
Well, I think there's definitely a couple that have already started across the U.S. I think Miami is definitely a go-to-market strategy always has been for a lot of new products, but especially technology here this decade. I think the Miami DAO can show definitely, be a lead example for how other cities can implement a DAO. We'll come out with great processes, but at the end of the day, each city has their own local problems. So it's up to citizens in each city to tackle those problems as they see fit, but using the decentralized technologies that, we're all looking to spread more widely.
Oh, yeah. And if you had to guess, Scarlett, what cities do you think may adopt a DAO or have the potential to form a DAO that may be as robust as Miami?
I think all cities have the potential to adopt the DAO. We just started here because, we're here, and we've seen how the blockchain community can embrace this technology where other cities can replicate, as a sister city. So I would say any cities who wants a governance systems in play can utilize this technology. And it's not just limited to Miami. This could go even, on a statewide as well. So we're not limiting ourselves to just a region, but it can be adopted to any city. So any city can participate on these DAO structures.
Yes. So if you see a DAO in another city, you already know they're copying Miami. But of course, it's great to see for any local governments to enact that. So if there was a city that wanted to start a DAO, what are the steps it would take for them to get the DAO started and to grow organically so the community is involved? Scott?
Well, I think it's really important to lay down some bylaws or some foundations or, kind of missions even before the DAO is started. So really bringing together all players from the ecosystem, the public sector, the private sector, the university, the tech ecosystem to really, draw up that white paper that says, hey, what is our mission? What is our first goal? And then how are we going to track our progress? And then I think from there, once you kind of, go live on mainnet and the DAO grows more organically, you really gotta, stick to those foundations and iterate through data, through, experimentation and really roll it out by there. But I think the trouble is if you just launch the DAO without that core foundation, then you can get, a little bit of chaos from the beginning, and that could throw things off track.
Absolutely. And Scarlett, what say you as far as building a DAO from scratch? What could a city do to make sure that it's running properly?
Yeah, well, education is always number one. You have to get the community involved first and foremost, and how to utilize the DAO first and foremost. Laying that foundation will help accelerate the adoption of the DAO system. But it's always very important to first educate the citizens first. What is the DAO structure, how the governance is going to be located, and also having the cities to also participate in the DAO system. So again, it always comes down to the education. So step number one is research, do due diligence, how DAO structures work. Two, get the city involved, it includes the mayor, the governor, so forth, to lay out the foundation as well. And three, of course, getting the community involved, how to educate themselves and how to participate. Having weekly meetings is a great way to build the community around the DAO structure. And a DAO can be utilized for many different decisions that can be very different from what Miami's do. It's something very personal within that city.
Oh, yes. And these are all great steps to get started. As you stated, make sure your white paper has the stated goals and mission. Make sure you're educating the community and, of course, growing organically. Because you can have all the telegrams, all the discords, you can do all of the spaces you want. But if you have people in there that aren't working towards a common goal, the DAO probably won't work. And you don't want it to fall apart, because that's when you lose trust. And that's when people are like, hey, man, we don't even want to be involved. So you definitely want to have that in place. So let's discuss the Miami DAO specifically. What is the stated goals or roadmap for 2022? What are at least 3 or 4 things that the Miami DAO is trying to achieve this year?
Well, I think first and foremost is just getting more and more people involved. Right now, the Miami DAO is a volunteer effort. So some program that we are starting in March is that we're going to really, incentivize and encourage people to work on the DAO over the weekends. So Miami DAO Saturdays and Sundays, if you want to contribute to the Miami DAO and really, start in those working groups, come on the weekends. It's going to be in Miami, but also held virtually. So really getting the cadence of how we're going to, step and progress. Really excited for that. And then also, including, people of all different backgrounds, make sure that they're all involved and really trying to get the DAO launched on mainnet. Right now it's on testnet. We have our white paper in progress, but really looking for the launch of the DAO once all of those checks and balances are in place and the white paper and the foundation is solid, really seeing it go live. I think that's going to be an exciting point.
Oh, yeah. And Scarlett, what other goals does Miami DAO have for 2022?
Yeah, absolutely. So our goal is that we're going to have weekly meetings, basically bi-weekly meetings, to learn and educate the community about the DAO and how different governance systems can help apply to Miami residents. So an introduction of the technology, including different topics that's relevant to Miami. So helping set up that pipeline is really our main goal for the Miami DAO. So and how the Miami resident and multilingual, because Miami is a very multilingual city with people around the world. So this is not just English, it's going to be in Spanish and other languages as well. So we definitely want to encourage those communities to come and join at the MiamiDAO.org to get yourself involved. So it's not limited to just one language. So we want definitely include different cultures and different languages as well. So that's really our priority number 1, make it accessible for everybody.
Yes, and those goals throughout the year of 2022 will definitely be achieved as more education comes, and the move from testnet to mainnet will also be big as well. And one idea that I wanted to throw out there for some people who are thinking, hey, DAOs sound good for governance, and politically we may have some power there. Do you think that political donations may run through a DAO at some point, and that people can basically choose who they want in office? Using the DAO as sort of a buffer, maybe not the end all be all for voting, but people can see exactly who they're voting for. Do you think the Miami DAO can achieve that going into this year or the next election?
I don't think, the Miami DAO is going to be focused on kind of those type of politics, but I think definitely a DAO structure is a better alternative than the PACs that we have now and the super PACs, which are known for its lack of transparency. So for sure, if there are politicians or different bills that people want to see pushed forward, a DAO is a great structure to show how you can contribute and where that money is going to support either that politician or that bill, compared to the old structures that we have right now where, a lot of these super PACs and the money that's in them, aren't really being best used for the mission.
All right, and you mentioned super PACs. In the future, we might have super DAOs at some point that a war chest of crypto to donate to politicians. It would be great to see, and it would be a lot more transparency, like you said. I think that is the main goal of a DAO, is to show exactly where all the money is moving and to make sure the community is involved with that. So, yeah, would love to have a super DAO at some point. I think we just coined the phrase, guys. Super DAO.
DAO.
Super DAOs. Oh yeah, that's the future there. And I wanted to ask, how exactly can someone in the Miami area get involved with the Miami DAO? What's the Telegram? What's the Discord? What's the emails? The website? All of those things that if a resident wanted to get involved right now, what exactly would they do?
Absolutely. So to get involved, there's many ways. You could reach out through our social media or go to miamidao.org. We're on Telegram, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth. And we're hosting bi-weekly meetings at the Lab Miami every Friday to basically get the community to learn about the technology. So just to get involved, you're welcome to reach us out through the social media platforms. So it's miamidao.org.
Got it there. And for somebody who is not a resident in Miami, can they still be involved in the Miami DAO or help with projects from a remote location?
You froze a little, but I think we heard your question for sure. So, everything that we do for the Miami DAO is all hybrid. So the setting is Miami and the lab, but we're going to be streaming all of this to our Twitter. We're going to have YouTube links. You're going to be able to discuss into our Telegram and Discord groups. And yeah, there really is, we want the voices to be from all over the globe. But at the end of the day, this is for, Miami-Dade County citizens and for their choices to dedicate where the money in the DAO is going to be affecting them. But definitely want insights, feedback, and suggestions from leaders in public policy, environmental issues, and housing policies from all over the world.
Oh, yeah. And when you mentioned environmental issues, I definitely want to point out that there are different blockchains you can use to move away from, harming the environment. What are some of the blockchains that have been used in the past or may be used in the past for the DAO to operate functionally?
There's definitely a lot of awesome blockchain layer 1 structures, but I think, something that we'll see in hopefully a few months, but definitely within the next coming years, is that a DAO can really live multi-chain. But we definitely want to partner with DAOs and have issuance on blockchains that do follow those ethics, that are fighting for, making sure that we're having a more decentralized future, that making sure that we're less reliant on CO2 emissions. We've talked with blockchains such as Harmony, Near Protocol. We're all very, fond of the Bitcoin protocol. So working with the Stacks team at Miami Coin as well, the Ethereum Foundation. But we really do think that the Miami DAO can live cross-chain and in a multi-chain future.
Absolutely. And I want to end it here because this subject is always close to my heart. Can kids under the age of 18, can they join the DAO or at least be involved enough to where they can get others involved? Is that a possibility, Scarlett?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're our future. They definitely are there to learn the technology early as on, and they're going to be setting the forefront of what their future looks like. So the earlier the better, of course. We definitely encourage kids to learn the technology, but always have a parent present and to make those decisions, of course. So, but they're more than welcome to come in, learn how DAOs work, and even learn how to develop a DAO. So that's something that we definitely encourage more kids to become programmers. We've seen a lot of young devs, as young as 10-year-olds to learn how to program. So, imagine your child learning how to build a DAO by programming. So that's something that's really quite exciting, of course. And, they may come up with more innovation that DAO structure that has a governance can be implemented.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. And as someone with a 10-year-old nephew who's coding on Roblox right now, I'm sure he would definitely love coding on a DAO and learning, how these types of governance work. But I appreciate you both for being here today to discuss the Miami DAO. Right now, the earliest adopter of the DAO structure and discussing how we can use it to our advantage in local cities. Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks so much, Isaiah.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for this episode of Community Crypto. I'm your host, Isaiah Jackson, and every week we're building a global community with local crypto groups. So be sure to tune in every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern on CoinDesk TV.